How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting and welcome to Muv-Luv Monday. And the fact that I am now becoming hardly aware I need a haircut. I don't know why. It just decided to just go floof today. I guess I just hit the critical mass point, but whatever. We are jumping back into Muv-Luv. We were able to find more of Lilia's crew. Unfortunately, they did not survive. They didn't have a chance of being found per se, but the chances of finding any survivors is dwindling rapidly. And frankly, it was just tough to kind of realize maybe we could have saved some people if we'd been faster. Maybe we still can, but I don't know. We gotta kind of deal with that consequence because, like we talked about last time, both Will and Lilia, they're both right. They both had really good points, and I think the positions are all very valid, but still. It's one of those situations where there's no good answers. There's nothing. We're in a crisis, so naturally you gotta keep an eye out for yourself and your limited supplies, but you also know that there's people out there who might be still alive and need help. You want to help them, but if you expend too many resources and don't even find anybody, it's a big waste. If you expend resources and find people, probably a good thing. But, like, it's just tough, you know? And so I really am interested to see how they're going to try and address this. But let's jump right into it and see how things go because, frankly, it's just about time, isn't it? So let's go. So good morning.
Ohayo.
Kind of weird thing to say good morning this late. Looks like I'm not the only one who didn't get a good night's rest. Luckily for us, we had the morning off. The place is deserted. No surprise, considering it's past breakfast time. I mean, it's awkward, but frankly, like, do you have to speak here? I mean, there's a pressure to, but like, do you have to? I mean, obviously, it's not like there's going to be any real resolution. I should try talking to her. Got no idea how to break the ice, though. Operation Flying Boom's first supply station was set up without incident. Commander Darrell even complimented my performance. Here's hoping nobody checks the flight logs anytime soon, or we're in for one heck of a scolding. Our rescue attempt was a failure, but not completely without results. According to Mel, finding the lifeboat apparently raised the morale of the Navy pilots and the relay maintenance team. Thanks to us, people could hold on to the hope that there may be others out there. Hope that perhaps we aren't alone. Which is a good thing, I suppose. Except the commander and I can't feel that way. That's a cool picture on the wall. Because it's our fault things ended up like this. Yeah, this is beyond awkward. I can't just talk to her like nothing happened. The thing is, like, Lilia's headstrong, but I don't think she's frivolous. I don't think she's literally blaming Will, though. So now we're seeing Will reflecting on himself. It's really he who feels like he's to blame because he was wrong in assuming that the best course of action was to not put your trust in a long shot. Just turned out the long shot was true. And I think that there's like a validity to that there. Like a lot of hero movies and stuff, like we always get that whole like 1 in a million shot and like we all want to believe that. But the pragmatists are the people who are likely to be right most of the time, and as heartless as it might feel sometimes, like I still think Will and Daryl were in the right. Like I think they're still in the proper line of thinking here. They were proven wrong, which means I think it's worth trying to expend a little more effort into finding maybe more lifeboats. But even so, it's like it's one of those things where like just because this one time they were wrong doesn't mean that they weren't correct in their thinking. You know what I mean? And I think that real life could do this too. Like in work, especially workplaces, I think sometimes like people will sometimes come up with a crazy idea that ends up working, and the pragmatic person kind of looks like that gets kind of poked fun of for being too like cowardly or too like cautious. But like that type of attitude is best 9 times out of 10, and I don't know, it's weird. I remember seeing that a lot where I worked. I don't know if it's really common, but again, I was also working in traffic control mostly when I'm like thinking about this in particular and like dealing with traffic and a lot of like heavy lifting and moving objects and timing things, and like maybe it's a better position for more like impulsiveness, but I don't know. Lilia's been glancing my way for a couple of minutes now, but she hasn't made any attempt to strike up a conversation. Well, I've been doing pretty much the same thing. Oh, screw it, here goes nothing. That's right, Will, just buckle up.
Lilia.
何？
昨日の2人、一応所属まで確認できたらしい。
そうなんだ。
シアトル、海軍連中の補給艦だったろ。もともとあれに所属してた 海軍補給部隊の情報なら JFK のローカルデータベースにも残ってたってさ。
That's good. Hey, I wonder if that means that she can actually be cleared now. Now the data link is down, now the data link's down, we're unable to access the military personnel database. We can only rely on the files we have on hand. It was a stroke of luck their names were on the database itself. That's not much of a reaction. Sure, we couldn't help them when they were alive, but now they won't be forgotten, I guess.
私にとってはただの追認だけど、ちゃんと確認できたのは確かに良かったわ。
Look at that. Now she's reacting.
逆だったら分かんなかったかもね。
Oh.
私が死体で見つかってたらよ。
Oh boy.
もうおい。
That's not a nice thing to say in front of the guy who rescued you.
私たちもシアトルじゃお客さんだったから。
Oh, so that's what she meant.
海軍のリストに載ってなきゃ、今頃私もジェンドゥでしょ。
Oh. I'm getting severely depressed. I don't know about you. It's just a coincidence that JFK had a list of the Seattle's crew. And that's not only because we had data on naval personnel. It's highly unlikely we have anything on other marine detachments like Lilia's. Or ours, for that matter.
強化装備もあったし、認識表だって下げてたろうが。
まあね、分かってる。分かってるのよ。強化装備で脱出したのは、もちろん生き延びるためだったんだけど。
There's more?
真っ暗な海の真ん中で、もう助からないんだって思った時、強化装備でよかったって本気で思ったわ。
Dang.
やめろよ。縁起でもない。
そうかしら。これを着てれば、マリーンパイロットだって分かってもらえる。データが残れば、誰だったか気づいてくれる。
I get that. I think the greatest burden I put on myself is this dream of just leaving a mark behind on the world. I've always dreamt of being a positive influence. Like, I as a kid, I always wanted to, like, do something that would, I figured that, like, the greatest achievement I could ever get, like, reach, because I've always enjoyed sciences and such, was to, like, to contribute in a way that, like, my name might be made a footnote or a reference in a book. Like a textbook or a history book or some kind of account where, like, other people would. It sounds so self-centered, but I always just wanted to feel like, you know, like when I go, that there was going to be something I left behind that would help people, that people would hear my name and, like, it would be, I don't know, a source of inspiration, maybe a source of like just record keeping, a footnote. I don't know. Like, I don't really know what I expected. I didn't want to be like some kind of hero or an Einstein or anything like that. I don't know. I don't like the idea of, like, moving on and being forgotten. I don't think anyone does, but it really bothers me. It's funny because, like, that I fear more than actually dying. Like, dying's gonna be a thing, right? We all know it's gonna happen, and I think I've kind of come to terms with that. Like, essentially, like, I don't want it to happen anytime soon, but when it happens, like, I'm not going to really be holding any grudges, and I hopefully will have continued to live my life where I wouldn't have any major regrets, but it is scary to think about getting forgotten, you know? To feel like you'll be a John Doe or a Jane Doe. A John Smith, Jane Doe, I think that's what it would be. An unknown, an enigma. I get really sad. There's a great, place in Washington D.C. that's on theme with this right here. It's I think if I remember correctly, it's the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It's a kind of a monument that represents the soldiers whose bodies were never recovered, who were MIA. No one knows what happens to them, and in all intents and purposes, like, we know they've died, or simply soldiers whom we found on the battlefield, whom we never were able to confirm records of, even on the other side. You know, that there are people whom time has forgotten completely, and we have literally a memorial to try and respect and honor those. And while, like, memorials are always kind of a place of pondering and, like, thinking, I've always thought that that kind of a memorial is the saddest place. Because I feel like that is a fate that's the hardest to imagine myself having to go through. And it's something that shouldn't matter because I won't be around to, like, appreciate it, but it still feels sad, you know? And I'm not even the kind of person who wants to leave behind, like, a gravestone or something. Like, I honestly don't see myself, like, wanting to have a plot and a big rock sitting somewhere, like, costing money to somebody to maintain. Like, that seems unappealing to me. But to not have any record of me either, to like, or the little record that is there having no actual tying to me or what I found important or my family, that's sad to me. It's very sad. So like, that's kind of why, like, I don't know for you, but like, I'm already getting hit really hard here because this whole conversation is very, like, very personal, I think, to me. She's very kind of flippant and being like, well, at least they aren't forgotten, but she's treating it like it's like, oh, well, like, it's, at least that's nice. But then, like, we're also getting a look here where it looks like she shares that same feeling with me.
やめろって。
だって怖かったのよ。死ぬことも怖かったけど、それよりも死んだことすら誰にも気づいてもらえない。
Yeah. That I can understand. We don't get to go back home in a body bag. Hell, we even used to joke about it. Want to visit a squad mate's resting place? You gotta go pay your respects to the tank class. Pretty grim stuff, but that was everyday life in our war against the beta. Fetch, man. Still, the military might not find your corpse, but they did have other ways to confirm you were gone for good, all thanks to that expensive piece of hardware we pilot, the TSF. Anybody participating in an operation against the beta would be put into the record. Those who failed to return from the sortie were assumed KIA. If they never came home, the other pilots would simply know they're dead, but it doesn't work that way anymore.
誰からも忘れられた存在になる。
Oh yeah, Gab, we're just gonna ride the train of depression today. Jeez. I did not sign up for this. Like, technically I did, and I'm very happy to play this game, but this is a lot of like personal, like, here you go. All this, here's your, like, what's it called? When you can't, non-tangible, like the untangible fears. I don't know. I know there's a word for it that I'm just not thinking right now. All I can think about is just like the fact that this horror exists, and it's like one of the scariest things for me about like the future. Back in the day, if you didn't return, your fellow surface pilots would carry on the fight, keep your memory alive.
それが何より怖くて。
Yeah, I agree. Lilia was serving on the front line since the moment she got her wings.
Lilia.
She might have relied on the unspoken vow to a degree that I can't even imagine. Dying is not the issue. Surface pilots are always prepared to die. But what every surface pilot fears the most is dying in vain. Being completely forgotten is much, much worse. It's so obvious now. Gosh darn it. Maybe I am a surface pilot in a way. In my own way, you know?
それが意味ってやつなのか。
I should have realized it sooner.
昨日言ってた。死んでても無駄じゃないってやつだよ。
そうよ。死者を悼み、語り継ぐ。英士だけじゃない。このひどい世界に生きてきた全ての人間の基本じゃない。無駄じゃない。無駄足なんかじゃない。
It did, to their families.
そのことをウィルが理解できないなんて思いたくなかったのよ。
I think Will doesn't agree, but I'm on Lilia's side in this case. What the heck? She has no right to say that. No right at all.
ま、昔の男のことは忘れさせてあげますよ。ぶっつけ本番でね。
レナード。
え？
Oh boy.
レナード。前の男なんて呼ぶやつに言われたかねえよ。
あれは、その。
お前が俺よりもずっと過酷な最前線で戦ってきたのはわかるよ。けどな、俺だって合衆国の軍人だ。マリーンなんだよ。遊撃一のヤンキーステーションでだってな、帰ってこなかった奴なんていくらでもいる。軍人やってて、兵士やってて、 死者を悼む気持ちがないやつなんているわけねえだろ。
It's a total war. Hundreds of millions have died in battle to protect humanity from the beta. Surface pilots are humanity's sword and shield. It's a line of work. People you knew die every day. It's impossible to grow numb to the pain of losing someone dear to you.
でも、ならどうして？
この状況考えろよ。
状況？
今この場の話じゃねえよ。この JFK、俺たち全員が置かれている状況だ。
There's no beta around, no gunfire to be heard. It's not business as usual anymore, and we're all still at war.
俺たちは孤立している。使える手段は戦術機だけ。その状況で戦術機を無駄に使う余裕があると思うのか？
Well, it's taking the wrong line here, but I get it.
そこが違うのよ。どうしてそこで無駄って話に流れちゃうわけ？
生きてるやつの方が重要だからだ。生き延びることが最優先だからだ。
それこそ、そんなことぐらい分かってるわよ。でもじゃあ何？生きてる人間が大切だから死人は無価値だって言いたいの？
そっちこそなんでそうなる？価値のあるなしじゃない。優先度の問題だ。
Gosh darn it, you two! You are on the same side of this argument, really. You're just slightly off of each other. God, dang it. Again with this. We're still not seeing eye to eye, are we?
今は非常事態なんだぞ。分かってるのか？リリアだって昨日見ただろ。この何もない潮の砂漠を。
それが、なんだっていうの？
合衆国の正規戦術規模艦一隻。俺たちが死んだら、こいつもまた潮にまみれて忘れられる。
忘れられる？
そうだ。この世界に残された貴重な戦力。人類の秩序を再構築する合衆国の軍隊。俺たちはそれを守らなきゃいけない。生きて、生き延びて、誰かに俺たちの存在を伝えなきゃいけない。一つでも多くの選択肢を手元に残さなきゃいけないことぐらい、お前だってわかるだろ。大体全滅しちまったらな、お前の言う語り継ぐって話だって不可能になるんだぞ。
Elia's contradicting herself, and she can't even see it. How can we keep the memories of our fallen comrades alive if we're dead ourselves? That's what we must put our own survival first. There's no other choice.
へえ、言ってくれるじゃない。非常事態ね。
We're in an argument stage where sarcasm's coming in. Nothing useful is gonna be happening now.
何
が昨日見たよ。私だってね、シアトルの上でずっとこの世界を眺め続けてきたわよ。水力をなくして分子を食いつぶしていくだけで選択肢なんて最初から一つもなくて3ヶ月よ。来る日も来る日も何もない海なのよ。流されてく座標にあるはずの島すら影も形もないのよ。
Oh boy.
それは
非常事態？面白い非常事態ね。温かい食事が出てお風呂がついて足りないのはプールとテニスコート。
そういう問題じゃないってことぐらい分かってるはずだぞ。
We get 3 meals a day, but so what? There's no point whatsoever in rationing our food. It would only make our mission harder. That's the virtue signaling, you gosh darn hypocrite. She wants to play the tragic heroine, fine by me, but she'll have to do it by herself. Because why do you think this is going to happen if we get started rationing our supplies? The ship's morale would guarantee to hit rock bottom. That's what's going to happen.
あら、ごめんなさい。確かにそうね。あんまり余裕ある非常事態だから、つい忘れちゃったの。
俺たちはふぬけてるって言いたいのか？
ふぬけてるわよ。現実から目をそらしてばかりじゃない。
どっちがだよ。死人でも構わないなんてセリフで推進剤を無駄にばらまくのが現実だって言うのかよ。
残量も何もかも計算の上でやってたことよ。隣で全部見てたでしょ。この船の贅沢と同じことよ。
一英士の考えうる範囲内ではな。全体最適を考えられる権限も情報も俺たちにはなかったんだぞ。
また上の代弁者やめてよ。上の考えを勝手に想像して持論を補強してるだけじゃない。
Mom and Dad, stop fighting.
人類の秩序だの。合衆国の戦力なんてのもそうよ。 自分の不安を重ねて生き延びたいって市場を正当化しているようにしか聞こえないわ。
Okay, here's the problem here, okay? This is actually the problem I see in politics all the time too. Is like they're on opposite sides. They're a lot closer in actual opinion like than they seem to think, but they're pushing each other's perspectives to like the greater reach of, what is that, like a straw man fallacy? Like erecting like, or what, I can't remember the fallacy name, but it's where you like take an argument to its extreme in order to try and discredit it, when that's not even what they're arguing to begin with. There's nuggets in there of what they are saying, but taken to an extreme to make it look ridiculous. And it's utterly pointless. Like, they're not even like having an actual discussion anymore. They're literally just trying to hurt each other, and that's what really sucks about this.
そうかよ。じゃあ言わせてもらうけどな。お前のそれだって市場じゃねえか。
何がよ。
忘れられたくない。一人で死にたくない。
That's why she went at us so hard earlier. She feels really strongly about this.
自分は見捨てられたくない。だから自分も見捨てない。語り継ぐ。そう叫んで死人を漁ってるようにしか見えねえんだよ。
死者はそんな都合のいい存在じゃないわ。
Oh, fetch. Holy crap.
レナードの件は悪かったわよ。ちょっと。
なんだよ急に。
Why is she acting all meek now?
でもその死者こそウィルがあなたたちが目を背けてる現実の一つよ。
どういう意味だ。
例えばウィルだって心のどこかでは理解してるんだわ。
おい、答えろよ。
What is she getting at here? Why is she suddenly being agreeable? How am I supposed to know what she's talking about if we won't explain it to me?
残された貴重な戦力。
The mission.
そうじゃなきゃあんなセリフが出てくるわけないもの。
だから一人で勝手に納得してんじゃん。
ウィル、
なんだよ。
死傷者は約1000名近い。艦長の言葉だけど、そのうち相当数が亡くなられてるわよね。医療エリアを見た限り、そんなに入院者がいるようにも見えなかったから。
それがどうしたってんだ。
That's a given. We've been stuck here for 3 months. The carrier's medical facilities are limited. The people who only had minor injuries were discharged a long time ago. The unlucky ones, those with serious injuries, they've all died already. The only people stuck in sickbay these days are compound fractures or severe or non-life-threatening injuries. Getting back on your feet from that takes time, hence why they're still hospitalized.
その人たち、どうしたの？レベル4。
Block C28. I only mentioned the morgue in a fit of rage the other day. I can't believe she remembered the exact block. She has quite the memory.
遺体が残ってるやつはな。あいつらをいつか必ずステイツに連れ帰ってやるのも俺たちの任務だよ。
Wish we could do the same for everyone, but we lost so many bodies in the sea during the Great Ocean collapse.
やっぱりね。
おい、リリア。
私、ちょっと注意に愚信してくる。
おい、待てよ。まだ話は。
Gosh, she's doing whatever she wants again. I'm getting sick and tired of dealing with her temper tantrum.
私たち覚悟を決めるべきなのよ。生きている私たち自身のために。
リリア、おい
！Prepare ourselves for the worst? What's she talking about? I'm confused too. I don't know, man. Oh, crap. When did we even start screaming at each other? Good thing there's practically no one around the cafeteria at this time of day.
なかなか派手にやったじゃない。
Well, I can't even agree with you at all. Like, normally it's like, oh, it's fun, poking fun. No, that was like, I'm surprised that, that Lilia didn't punch us in the face. Or that Will didn't punch her.
メール
Impeccable timing, as always. Totally slipped my mind that she never sticks to the regular hours.
MA に見つかんなくてよかったね。最近風紀にうるさいらしいじゃん。
Right.
まあな。
A heated argument like that, one that could have negatively affected the crew's morale, yeah, this would have been a heck to pay to the Master of Arms had seen us. I don't have time to worry about that now.
まあ、そんなに乾パンダイエットが好きなら止めないよ。どうよ、ウィル。
この間のも見てたのか。
見てたのは私じゃないけどね。 我らの情報網は常に柱の陰にいるのだよ、
Oh,
君。
that's convenient. Wonderful. She's the last person I wanted to know.
で、追いかけないの？リリア行っちゃったよ。
追いかけてもしょうがないだろう。
Why would I do that? You don't need to be Nostradamus to predict we'd only end up getting in another fight.
ありゃ、少年、ひよっちゃうの？今ここでごまかしたって、君らエレメントじゃろ？任務じゃ。
任務に市場は出さねえよ。ま、逆にあいつが任務に市場を持ち込んだら、嫌でもぶつかるんだろうけどな。
Hmm.
へえ、何それ。とはなる逃走宣言？男の子だね、ウィル。
仕方ないだろ。なんだ。状況に対する根本的認識の相違ってやつが分かったからよ。
Okay, I'm starting to think the same way, but a lot can change when a crisis is not ongoing anymore.
生き延びるためのリソースを市場で潰されたくないんだよ、俺は。
Making the survivor as our utmost priority strikes me as such an obvious choice to make. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around the fact that she disagrees. Or maybe that's not the issue at all? Maybe I'm the one who's missing the forest for the trees?
市場云々が根本的相違ね。ほんと君らって。
まあ座れよ。飯まだなんだろ？こっちも結局食いそびれちまったし。
It's gonna be awkward if we force Mel to take sides, so let's not do that. I'll simply grab something to eat and try to put those thoughts away.
ウィル？
なんだよ。ドリンクなら俺にじゃなくて。
君、真面目に考えたことあるのかな？
Yeah.
え？
Think about... Lilia kind of said a key point in there that I think we're going to reflect on here. She said the Seattle drifted through the water. They were able to use GPS because the GPS geosynchronous satellites seemed to have been unaffected by whatever happened. They said that they were supposed to have passed islands that weren't there. They had a tsunami that was like the most insane tsunami ever, and the ocean bottom effectively fell. So now they have mountains covered in salt that weren't exposed, but now are. A tsunami that big likely washed away any islands, whatever would have been on them. And then if they weren't like obliterated, because a lot of that's topsoil and stuff that's not meant to like stick around, you probably couldn't even get to them in a boat anyway. And it kind of implies scarily that, so if islands in the deeper parts are just gone, and any islands that are in shallower parts are now effectively the tops of mountains, Hawaii's a no-go. There's not going to be anything there, is there? The best they could hope for is mainland, but they're going to have to walk. The best they could do is get as close as they can, beach themselves, and then trek the, I don't know, hundreds of miles up what was like the ocean shelf. Like, when she said that, my stomach dropped, because I think that's what it means. What's up with her?
真面目にだよ、この状況。
It's bad.
おい、何なんだよ一体。
リリアが言ってたじゃん。ウィルはさ、この現実から目を背けてないって言い切れる？
お前までそういう。
Think about it, Will. Come on. Like, really think about it. I know that look. There's no way out. I haven't known Mel for that long, but I know her well enough to realize she won't drop it. God, what is with the women around me?
考えてるよ。だいたい俺のどこが目を背けてる？どう考えても現実を見据えてるのは俺の方だろ。
ほうほう。で、その現実って何？
は？何って、この状況に決まってんだろ。
だから、この状況って？
おいおい、勘弁してくれよ。JFK の現状についてブリーフィングでもしてほしいのか？
She should know exactly what our situation is like, so that can't be it. What's am I getting at? I also have another question. I wonder, like just now, I just had a thought too. Where'd the water go? Right? Where'd the water go? Did it evaporate? Possible, yes. Could explain why there's so much salt. But there was a tsunami first, right? So massive wave, like insanely big wave. Where'd it go? Waves like that don't just dissipate. Maybe it crashed into Antarctica because they said it went from the north to the south. But there should still be like shock waves of it, you know? Like a wave that big, global catastrophe. So where's all the water? Because it's not like it all just vanished, right? That is an unknown that terrifies me too. We've been beached here for months. It's on its face, her question makes no sense.
君らの素敵な戦術規模感は、今ここに座礁してて、孤立してて、通信も繋がらない。
Yep.
そうだよ。それが現実だ。
そんだけ？
No. That's the boat's problem. The world is another thing.
そんだけって。いい加減しつこいぞ、メル。
Come on, Will.
それ以上
I
何
think
が
he
あ
is
るんだ。
avoiding, because this seems pretty obvious. Like, have you not been thinking about what this implies for the rest of the world?
ウィル、それ本当に分かってて言ってる？
Yeah.
だから何をだよ。メル、今日のお前何かおかしいぞ。
Yeah, she's starting to get on my nerves. Mel's the type who won't shut up when she knows something you don't. What's the deal with this Socratic bullcrap?
オーケー。じゃあそれがウィル。いや、君ら JFK にとっての現実だとしよう。
俺らにとってって、やけに突っかかるな。
いいから。でさ、その現実を見据えて、君ら一体何してるの？
あのな、そりゃメルが一番知ってる話だろ。
Will, we get that she should be able to answer this. She wants you to answer it. Just answer.
中継機を設置して外部との接触を目指す。食料にも限界がある以上、それが生き残る唯一の道だ。
Hmm.
ふーん。
Because, like, is that really what we're ending up doing? Is that really even possible? Isn't the closest, like, civilization mainland USA? Like, isn't that really reality? Like I said, like, I don't think there's anything left on Hawaii. If a tsunami that big hits, it's gonna overcome an island like that. Will's betting on a dead horse, unfortunately.
お前な、人に散々分かりきったことばっか説明させといて。
Logic. Of all the possible times I played 20 questions, she just had me pick the moment right after I argued with Lilia.
え？だっておかしいじゃん、それ。
もうさっきからこのセリフばっかだな。一体何がだよ。いい加減何が言いたいのかはっきり。
だって君らの現実は JFK の周りだけなんじゃろ？
Yeah.
え？
母艦の外の世界なんてないふりしてんだからさ。接触する外部なんてあるわけないじゃん。きっとこの先ずっと行くと、海が切れて滝になって落ちてるんでしょ？大亀の背中かなんかの上でさ。
何を言ってるんだ？
ウィル、いや、君だけじゃない。君らアメリカンにずっと感じてたことだよ。
Uh-oh.
まあ、オージーも同じかな。少なくとも生粋の連中はともかく。
Oh. Taking for granted that our home's there. That it's always there. Because it's never been taken away.
君らの言う現実、ちと狭くないかい？
Yeah.
JFK の周りですっぱり切れ落ちてる。
何？
外の世界と連絡を取れば、助けが来ると信じてる。君らを助けてくれる外側の世界を無条件で信じてる。
そんなことは。
ねえウィル、最初に聞いたよね。真面目に考えたことあるかって。
Think about the disaster you've seen. Think about what it implies, even ecologically, let alone logistically. Think about it, Will. Think about it.
真面目に。この世界のことをさ。
The rest of the world.
聞いたよ。フライングブーム作戦じゃハワイを目指すんだって。もちろん、そりゃ間違っちゃいないよ。 ブルーオーシャン最大の集結予定地はハワイだもん。誰かしら集まってるだろうし、だから私も徹夜で頑張ったんだもんね。
Hmm.
分かってるじゃねえか。だったら。
でも、ハワイ自体が無事だったかどうかなんて、誰にもわからない。
I'm putting my money on no!
ハワイだけじゃないよね。ステイツは、他のすべての世界は。
やめろ。
This is the last thing I want to hear. Obviously, I've thought about the possibility, but now's not the time. No, Will! We need to focus on things we can actually change.
なんで？現実を見据えるんじゃなかったの？
それは。
合衆国の正規戦術機母艦一隻。
あ？
わかるよ。大事な戦力だよね。世界で何隻しかない貴重なでっかいお船だよね。
メル、冗談なら。
なのになんで誰も探しに来ないの？
Oh boy.
それは通信障害もあるだろう。座標だって特定は。
Wait a minute. The GPS satellites. You think if mainland was okay, they would have figured out a way to communicate with those GPS satellites. They'd be able to detect the pings from other ships. It actually should be expected that somebody, if they're out there, would hear them. I don't think that there's nothing out there. I think there would be survivors. And I think the disaster is such greatness and scale that there's going to be other factors preventing it. But Will's got to consider that fact here. Maybe it'll help him come to terms with the situation. Why? Why is Mel bringing this up now?
こんなデカブツ、衛星飛ばせばすぐに見つかるよ。太平洋のこの辺なら遠慮なく飛行機だって使えるじゃん。
だからそれは多分救難の優先順位とか。
Why does she need to point this out now?
合衆国の正規母艦の優先度が低い。いやー、さすがすごいな、お金持ち。
Yeah. Yeah, there's not time for this kind of talk, and this ain't sure isn't it.
こんな状況だから言うけどさ、ウィル。私ね、バビロンの時は国連の観測班にいたんだよ。
Really? So you saw? Huh?
観測班
G-Day のね。
During Operation Babylon?
中継機に転用できる機材があんだけあったのは、それが理由。
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much the genius Mel is. No one would trust her blindly, at least not to that extent. But what does this have to do with anything?
だから私は、君らよりちょっとだけ妄想が進んでいるのかもしれないね。
Right.
一体何を知ってる？
別に、大したことは何も。
Okay.
あの日、ユーラシア外縁部の背部に、一斉に G 弾攻撃が始まって。
Right, yeah, what happened?
第一波が、モニュメントもレーザー級も吹っ飛ばしたところで、間髪入れず、内陸部の背部にも、第二波投下。
So she's saying it was like a rippling effect, where they started on the edges and then like effectively super nuked the Asian continent.
すごかったね。衛星画像で見てただけだけどさ、オリジナル背部も綺麗さっぱり。
Dang.
ウィルも覚えてるっしょ？あの時のアメリカ万歳三唱。さすがのメル様も感動だったよ、ほんと。
Right.
そりゃ覚えてるさ。ついに人類は勝ったんだって。
So what was the blue ocean thing anyway? And by we, I don't mean just American armed forces. The entire world was losing its mind. At that point, we had yet to assume control of any hive. Still, the monuments and beta on the surface were utterly annihilated. And it's not like we destroyed one or two hives, no. We destroyed them all. Hang on, though. If satellites are down, that's actually... Isn't that another problem? Like, I've heard that, like, they set up a satellite... I was reminded by somebody, they set up a satellite network that helps intercept, like, beta hives that try to, like, re-enter the atmosphere of the Earth. If the satellites are down, what if, while we're all going over here like this, like, what if new hives are already being set up? Has anyone thought about that?
そんで、謎の巨大な台風に見舞われた。
So, first it was storms. What?
ハイブ周辺は軒並みすっぽり暴風域に覆われて、沿岸部じゃ謎の海面上昇。
Air surrounding the hives. Weird. What the heck?
ユーラシア水没の予測が出て、ブルーオーシャンが発動して。
Oh. Oh no. If the simultaneous bombing of all those G-bombs hitting the Asian plate caused its superstructure, like the crust of the earth, to collapse, that might be where all the water went. The tsunami might have been from a megaquake. The water rushes out and then floods in to fill in the hole. So Asian continent, not really there anymore, now becomes a new ocean. So all the ocean levels drop. That might be what happened. Interesting. But why did the storms happen? And why was it sinking? Was it sinking just because... Like, did the oceans rise because, like, the shelf started to collapse initially? I don't know. It's weird. Or maybe it buckled upwards and that pushed the oceans away and thus made the levels rise. Okay.
大解放、大津波、異常気象。衛星は死んで、通信も死んで。
Huh.
ただ、こうもいろいろあってさ、みんな忘れちゃってると思うんだけど。
What? I don't remember anyone overlooking anything. I mean, that was the unprecedented catastrophe. Pretty sure everyone who matters was taking notes.
真っ先に後方との連絡が途絶えたじゃん。
Wait, the rear? Oh no. Either a beta counterattack or another faction like America or another group simultaneously doing like a hostile takeover.
いや、それを忘れるわけが。
あれ、通信がくたばる前だったって覚えてる？
Oh man, so if there's a hostile takeover of like America, for instance, maybe another nation, or there was like a rising up, like a coordinated military coup, you could say. What's the first thing you'd want to do to any forces whom you didn't have under your thumb? Cut off communications.
いや、そんな、そうだったか。
It's absurd, but what if she's not wrong? That can't be, because if she's right, it's a game changer.
いろいろ錯綜してたから、厳密なことは言えないけどね。衛星も一気に落ちたわけじゃないし。
Fetch! Is this really a disaster caused by people entirely? To the point where they were gonna kill communication? That's so stupid.
結局、あの時何が起きたのか。今何が起きてるのかなんて。この状況でわかるわけないけどさ。
So maybe we don't want to be found.
でも、君んとこの本土も、オーストラリアも。大解放以前に何かがあった。
But after Babylon.
そうとしか思えないんだよね。
But what do you think? Speculation. This is nothing but speculation. If Mel's right about the sequence of events, there's only one possible conclusion.
上はさすがに考えてると思うけど、君らはどうなんだい？
Who controls the world now?
外の世界のことを真面目に。
This is the first time I'm talking about this with someone else, but it's not like I didn't notice something wasn't very wrong before. I mean,
それを考えたことがないやつなんていないだろう。
humanity! Anyone who experienced the Great Ocean Collapse would wonder about the state of the world and whether they'd have a place to go home to.
俺だって想像ぐらいしたことはある。
したことあるってのは考えないようにしてるのと同じだよ。わかっ？
バカにすんな。それぐらいわかってる。
へえ、ほんとかね。
わかってる。わかってるんだよ。でもな。
Yeah, I've given it some thought. I've reached a conclusion.
それを考えたところで何になるんだ？
No.
外の世界がどうなってようと、俺たちには推進剤を消費して少しずつ前に進む以外に道はない。生き残ってる誰かと接触を回復させる。それ以外にできることなんてないんだ。
He might be right, but...
まあ、 そりゃ真実だね。
だろ。そんな時に世界がどうなってるかなんて想像しても何も変わらない。目先のことに集中しなきゃいけない時だってある。それがわからないお前じゃないだろ。
うん、わかってるよ。
Great. So this entire conversation was for nothing. No.
だったらなんで。
違うよウィル。つまりウィルもわかってんじゃん。
俺が。
Can she stop speaking in riddles already?
そう。つまりウィルの言う現実とやらも実のところ生きるための方便だってことがさ。
Right.
おうおう、誤解すんなよ。責めてるわけじゃないってば。それが今取れる唯一の現実策なのも正しいし。でも何より大切なのはそれが希望ってことだよ、ウィル。
Oh. And Lilia's point of view might be what's giving her a landline, like a something to hold to.
その現実ってのは生きるための希望なわけでしょ。
Yeah.
そうだ。俺たちは生きるための希望に集中して。
Yeah, because if not...
うん。だったらそれってさ、リリアの言う死者と向き合う姿勢と大した
Thank
違い
you!
ってないんじゃない？
I have to say, Mel, best character? I think she's my favorite so far. She's great. She's cute, she's smart, she sees things. I think Mel might be my favorite character, at least so far, but she's got a real strong start. Lilia's fine, but I think Mel's better. That's just me, though.
それを。
I want to give absolute priority to our survival. Lilia wants to go out of her way to preserve the memory of the dead. And somehow our views are not completely at odds? No! If you think about it, you both want to accomplish the same mission, essentially. You just have emphasis on, where you should spend, a little extra resources. True, it's important to make sure you allocate them properly, and I tend to see Will's side more than Lilia's side, but... at the same point, like I was trying to say before, they're so much closer in their arguments than they seem to think.
ウィルは希望を外に見出してる。リリアは覚悟を内に求めてる。どっちも生きるため、生きてる自分らのためってのは同じ。
Yeah.
生きるために。
君ら二人、手段が違うだけで、目指してるところは同じなんだよ。
I mean, she's right. She's absolutely right.
そんなことは。
さっきも言ったけど、非難がましく聞こえちゃってたら謝るにゃ。そうやって余計な思考をすっぱり切り落とす。ある意味での能天気さっていうか。そういうアメリカ人のタフさは羨ましいし、それが今までだって人類を救ってきた面もあるんだから。
Well, also the fact that they didn't actually have to incur to, they were able to handle the beta that attempted to land on the North American continent, and then they've kept everything else away.
褒められてんだかけなされてんだかわかんねえな。
ウィル流の軽口が戻ってきたね。
Mel was worried about me, huh? I mean, it's easy to be objective when you don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm impressed. She must have been paying close attention to us. I think Lilia and I have the same goal in mind.
ならもう一丁。今回も救ってみたらどうよ。
え？
リリアが何かするって言うなら、そのバランスを取るのは、ウィルの役目じゃろ。
それは。
目的は同じで、しかも君ら、マリンコは同士じゃんか。
That's right.
メル。
何？
今度、なんかおごるわ。無事向こうに帰れたらな。
It's like you didn't pay attention to anything she said, but sure, whatever. Whatever, man.
やれやれ、めんどくさいやつ。
Since Lilia was trying to catch the commander, there's only one place she could be. Bingo.
リリア。
ウィル？
注意は毎週この時間、ここで会議だからな。
All according to plan. Glad I made it in time.
そうみたいね。
たく、先走りやがって。
Yeah.
先走るって、私が注意に話すだけじゃない。別にウィルが来ることないと思うけど。
Nope.
それ
I guess that's how it looks from her point of view.
止めねえよ。
But she's wrong. I kind of understand what Mel's been trying to tell me, but her lesson hasn't sunk in yet. I'll have to play things by ear for a bit.
俺たちはエレメントだろ。相棒が愚信するなら同席するってだけだ。
Okay. Need to hear her out with an open mind. I won't understand where Lilia is coming from otherwise. Plus, she is my partner.
エレメントってまだ単なるローテーションじゃない。
関係ねえだろ。次の任務で注意が編成決めるまでお前が俺のバディだ。
はいはい、律儀なことね。
それに止めはしないけど、無茶言ったら諌めるぐらいはしないとな。
That's a half-baked excuse, but it should be better than nothing.
わかったわよ。
おや、自ら出頭とは律儀なもんだね。
Yeah, yeah.
しかし、出頭ですか？
Oh, what of course, but your love affair.
食堂でまたやらかしたそうじゃないか。
How does everyone know? Wait, how? We came here straight from the cafeteria. Does that mean, like, that information on the ship travels faster than people?
狭い船の上さ、噂の速さをなめるんじゃないよ。
Did someone, like, literally sprint down the hallways, like, telling everyone?
はあ。
And aside from the look of it, she's taking it literally.
ま、通りすがりの MA が耳打ちしてくれたってだけのことだがね。
Right. Oh, so that's what it is. Wait, how's that any better? We're still screwed.
状況に鑑み、わざわざ私に判断を一任してくれた心優しい MA さ。
Oh, not more running. What?
どう料理してやろうかと思ってたら、自らお出ましとはね。
はい、
話があるんだろ？ま、聞こうじゃないか。
Oh boy.
さて、リリア・シェルベリ少尉、何か私に話があるそうだが。
So the few remaining people who could hear every last word, we shot at each other. From their perspective, it sounded like we were bad-mouthing our superior officers. Not great for the carrier's morale. Worst case scenario, we're facing disciplinary action here. And if it comes to that, my punishment will be harsher than Lilia's. All because I had to go and talk to Mel right after our argument.
は、若干長くなりますが、お聞きいただければ幸いです。
許可する。そのために呼んだんだからね。
ありがとうございます。
Commander's not about to go off on us quite yet, but she might change her tune depending on what Lilia says next. Well, I'll see how things play out soon enough. I came here to hear what Lilia had to say anyway.
あの日から96日が経ちました。
Fetch, man. It's a long time.
96日。G-Day から3ヶ月です。
God, has it really been that long? We must have been spinning our wheels in place for 3 months now, just trying to survive. Anxiety has a way of dulling your sense of time.
ここに来るまでに、この船も多くの戦友を失ったと聞いています。私も同じく数多くの仲間を失いました。先日の発見に鑑みれば、シアトルの兵員も、マリンたちも、生存は絶望的です。
シェルベリ少尉、それは。
ウィル、またやらかす気かい？黙ってな。
Yeah, I think Will needs to learn to just zip it for a little bit.
先ほどのウィルとのトラブルは、私が悪かったのだと反省しています。艦内の、ある意味で弛緩した雰囲気に対する、私の八つ当たりでした。
Complacent. We're all on edge here. I hardly find it hard to believe she hasn't noticed. Mel's gotta be wrong. We can't be after the same thing. No way.
ほう、弛緩とは大きく出たね。
And the commander's back to confrontation mode. That's thanks for nothing, Lilia.
申し訳ありません。言葉の選択を誤りました。
構わないよ。口を挟んで悪かった。続けな。
は。では、任務遂行に対する、ある種の自己欺瞞と言い換えさせていただきます。
了解した。だがね、あまりお役所みたいな言葉を選ぶことはないよ。
了解です。
Willful self-deception, she says. Squares with, that squares with what Mel said earlier, doesn't it? That everyone here is some kind of tunnel vision?
私は、これは私の憶測に過ぎません。ですが、
Yeah.
私はステイツがすでに壊滅している可能性を否定できません。
It's possible. It really is.
ほう。
There it is. The last thing anyone wanted to hear. But even if we were here to talk about it, it wouldn't change anything. Hell, it would be counterproductive to bring it up. The ship's morale would hit rock bottom.
そのことを心のどこかでは想像しながらも、決して言葉や態度には出さず、任務に邁進する。
What?
隊長をはじめとする我がマリンコア、そして JFK のセイラー一同のその高潔さには正直感服いたします。
I don't feel like it was necessary, even though she's technically complimenting us. The fact that she said that I somehow might have been an exception is actually still insulting. Brava. Hope is all we needed before, just like Mel said.
そんな時に世界がどうなってるかなんて想像しても何も変わらない。
We're willing to put up blinders to take our minds away from the uncertain future. That's something only an outsider could notice. Still, they can't possibly be what she wanted to talk about with the commander. I'm sure she's not showing all her cards quite yet.
不安を胸に抱えながらも、誇りあるアメリカ軍人として誰にも恥じぬよう規律を保ってこられたのだと思います。
No running away from reality. Lilia's not going to openly claim our way of doing things has been wrong all along, but that's the only thing I can imagine she's hinting at. So what? She's going to suggest we add search and rescue to her mission parameters? Can't be. That's a non-starter. I saw how serious Lilia is about trying anything and everything within the confines of Operation Flying Boom with my own two eyes. She's not going to double down on a proposal she knows is doomed from the start.
リリア・シェルベル少尉。話の途中ですまないが。
はい。
JFK の専任として、貴様の賞賛に感謝する。
Aww.
その通り、私ら母艦の人間は、他の輸送艦、オーストラリアの連中にとっても、鏡でなければならない。貴様はそのことを改めて認識させてくれた。ありがとう。
は、身に余る光栄です。
The fact that Lilia's got Commander Daryl saying this much shows that she really could put herself in our shoes. But what I don't get is, what was the point of saying the United States might be gone already? Where's she going with this?
注意。
続けな。
はい。今申し上げました通り、本国の壊滅などを思考から排除しておくことは、現実としての任務を遂行する上では重要と考えます。ですが一方で、決して思考から除外してはならない存在があるはずです。
Right. I have no idea what she's thinking, but I can't tell if she's going to bring up something about keeping the memories of the dead alive again.
注意。明後日、5月31日は、簡略ながら式典が準備されていると伺いましたが。
え？
そうだ。31日はメモリアルデーだからね。
Memorial Day. That's right. Memorial Day, a day to remember all honored American soldiers who died while serving the U.S. Armed Forces. We fly the flag at half-mast from sunrise to noon, carry the stars and stripes to their graves. Of course, there's no graveyard around here, so we really can't really do the second part. Instead, we'll only assemble on the deck with the flag at half-mast, where the captain will deliver a rousing speech.
それがどうかしたのかい？
は。その日に合わせ、部隊長の執行を具申いたします。
That'd be a good idea, actually. What?
ほう。いいだろう。理由を聞こうじゃないか。
はい。我々は、覚悟を決めるべきなのだと思います。
覚悟、ね。
もう一つの現実。本国がすでに壊滅している可能性、あるいは我々が帰還するまでに予想を超える年月を要する可能性を見据える必要があると思うのです。
Absolutely.
繰り返しになりますが、この日、この地に至るまでに、我々は数多くの戦友を失いました。ですが、今この世界に、我々以外に彼らを弔い、語り継ぐ誰かが残っているのでしょうか。もし我々が彼らを葬り、語り継がなければ、彼らはこの世界に居場所を失うことになります。
I see. So she's about she wants to try and help give that hope to the rest of the crew. You mean, like they never existed?
それは取りも直さず、我々もまた、彼らの居場所となる機会を失うことになると思うのです。
Is she trying to say this is our last chance? It might be. Either we tell their stories now and keep their memories alive, or we don't and they inevitably fade from our minds. It wouldn't be as if it would be as if our friends never existed, and their memories would be erased by our own hands.
生きている我々のために。彼らの居場所となるために。
She makes it sound so obvious, but is that really what our friends would have wanted? The dead don't have a voice. Whatever we decide, we'll be making all the choices ourselves. Is that the right thing to do?
3ヶ月。彼らを弔い、語り継ぐべき時が来たのではないかと思います。ここを、この潮の砂漠へと変貌した世界を、亡き戦友と我々の集う場所にすべきです。前に進むためにです。帰還を諦めるのではなく、ここから始めるために。
I get it. This is a good idea, actually.
以上、受信いたします。
なるほどね。リリアの意見はよくわかったよ。コリンズ少尉、意見を聞こうか。
は。
Right past the buck, Commander. I guess this is what it feels like to be between a rock and a hard place.
死者を悼むのは当然の感情です。
Here goes nothing.
ですが今、それをこの地でなすべきか。正直言えば、ブルーオーシャン作戦でこの間に集った戦友たちが故郷を目指していたのは事実です。また我々の中には彼らを国に連れ帰ることに意義を見出している者も少なくないと思います。この故郷から遠く離れた不毛の地に彼らを葬ることが彼らの我々のためになるのか。
I understand where Lilia is coming from. As Mel wisely pointed out, preserving the memory of our dead helps us keep our hopes alive. But now it sounds less like they're helping us. That sounds less like they're helping us stay alive, and more like we're only using them to soothe our consciences.
それに、これは死者への敬意に欠けるかもしれませんが、現実論として申し上げます。
Someone has to say this. Might as well be me.
ただ彼らを埋葬するにしても、必ずリソースを消耗します。
I don't know, man. I think it's fine.
それは事実だな。
はい。規模を考えれば、埋葬地を掘り返す重機や強化外骨格、搬送に使用する車両、その全てが限りある燃料を消費します。他方、彼らを安置し続けるコストは、無尽蔵に等しい原子炉からの電力だけで済みます。
You still hold a ceremony, though. You don't have to actually bury them. Why can't you just have both? Like, you can have a ceremony where you remember them and present their names at a mass funeral, but not burying them yet.
生者のための、生存のための、外部へと手を伸ばすための資源を、必須ではない精神的行為に消費していいものか。
I don't think that last thought's technically true, though. I think it is important. I just think that they could just have both their ideas. Should I have to stop now? Can't go back on my words.
ただ、それは最終的には、官を預かる方々が判断されるべきことです。
It's like in the game, there's no need to pretend we could dictate policy.
ウィル、注意、よろしいでしょうか。あくまで試験です。死者を代弁することは誰にもできません。ですが、もし私が先にこの地に倒れていたとしたら、
リリア。
私は私の死から誰かが意義を見出してほしいとそう思います。
I see.
故郷に帰るまでの一つの足がかりとして。
It's odd because I'm so torn between their 2 points of view. Because it's like I was saying at the very beginning of this episode, like, it's not that I need recognition or like want to be some kind of like remembered for something great. It's just the idea of like feeling like even in my death there's meaning, that there's like value and worth and something that can be for other people. You know what I mean? Like that my passing has a mark of some kind. And I think Lilia's talking about that right here. She's saying, like, it's not disrespectful if by burying our dead and giving him a send-off, we kindle the hope and start of a new journey in a new world where essentially everything we know could be gone and we have to start from the beginning. And she's saying, like, if I had died, I would have wanted you to gain strength from me in any way possible. So yeah, because, like, it's like a soldier goes to the battlefield not because they expect to be buried at home, but because they want to go knowing that they gave the best chance of survival to those around them. So that's what she means. She's convinced the dead are intended to help the living in their struggles.
もちろん生き延びた誰かがいつか故郷に帰ることができたなら、その時再びこの場所に聖者が集い、今度こそ彼らを連れ帰ればよいのだとそう思います。
It's funny. It's funny because I've been on the side of Will ultimately. I think officially flipped to Lilia's side here.
彼らを弔うのは彼らと共にあるためであり、私たちが生きていくためなんです。
I think she's right.
俺たちと共に
A final chance to be together with the people we've lost.
生きていれば、生きている限り、どんな苦難に直面しようと生き抜く覚悟はできているから。
I don't think that's a waste of resources. I'll be damned. She really is tougher than nails. Her determination to face this brave new world is clear from her words. Compared to Lilia, we're all sticking our heads in the sand.
US マリーンは常に国民の規範たれか。
は。
お嬢ちゃんにそれを教えられるとはね。私もそれなりに参ってたのかね。
Can't believe Commander Darrell, the most stubborn woman the gods green earth, is throwing up the towel so quickly, but I have to admit she's not the only one that Lilia's convinced today. Here too.
リリア、貴様、艦長の前で同じことは言えるかい？
Yeah.
もちろんです。食堂では図らずも式に関わる言葉を使ってしまいましたが、そもそも艦全体での不安の蓄積、艦長も気づいておられないわけはないと思います。
そうか。
What's she doing?
ああ、私だ。そう。艦長に愚信したい話があってね。時間を抑えてもらえるかい？
通ったのか。
Wait, she wants Lilia to talk to Captain now?
そうだね。もうあさっての検査。ああ。よろしく頼んだよ。リリア・シェルベリ少尉。
は。
行くよ。今すぐ艦長がお会いになるそうだ。
は。同行いたします。
ウィル、あんたは。いや、その面じゃ無理だね。構わないよ。貴様は解散とする。
What?
了解しました。
ウィル、ありがとう。
Well, that was interesting. I think we're going to stop here for today. Man, my emotions are played with a lot. I am dying to know what's happening in the rest of the world and, like, what's going on. Because, like, Super Tsunami, man, that's freaking terrifying. I think they haven't even fully followed through, like, the logic. I think US could be gone. And even what remains is likely not recognizable. But there's no chance that Hawaii's there. Not at all. I suppose they probably knew that, but they still sent a ship out because they have to try. But still, oh my gosh. Man, Lilia's got a good point, though. I do think she expressed it on like, disproportionately. And, like, I do totally get Will's, like, resources are precious and need to be handled with care. I totally agree with that 100%. I just think that morale is a resource just like any other. Like, kind of like how time's a resource. It's a resource you don't think about as a resource, but it is a resource. And so, like, yeah, you don't want to waste precious fuel, but how much further is that fuel really going to get you? Like, it's not going to be all that much fuel in the large scheme of things. Like, it can't be even remotely as close to, like, one sortie in a TSF, right? Like, that must take up so much fuel. So, by expending a tiny fraction of fuel and gaining a lot more concrete morale. You're trading a resource you have some of for a resource you're almost empty of. That's a win in my book. You just need to find the right way. Morale's tough because you can't just like magically make morale a bigger thing. It's dynamic. You have to understand people. But I think in this case, they've figured out something together, and I do think that it's the right thing to do. So we'll see if it actually happens, but mostly we're just going to have to wait till next week and see how this all plays out. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is the beginning of a new start for the channel, and it's probably going to be a rocky one, but like I'm planning on doing 5 videos a week from now on. So please keep your eye on the subscription box for that. I'm going to do, like anytime I start a new series from here on out, I'm going to go ahead and make it an event, so it'll pop up and kind of like let you like, it'll be like a, it'll be, I can't remember what it's called, a premiere. It's a premiere, but it just kind of highlights it, and it'll be a good way to draw attention to the start of a new series. So look for that on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll be having a premiere, although Thursdays will be Persona 5, so it's going to be just a continuation of where we were, but it's also kind of a resurrection of it, because I kind of stopped doing it after the summer. But we're going back into it. And then on Tuesday, so tomorrow, I'll be starting a Pokemon Nuzlocke, something I've always wanted to do myself, and something I think will be fun. And it's also a chance for me to play with editing in a way I've never really done before, and I hope you'll enjoy it. I think it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be different from what you've seen before, but it's still me, very much me. I even go on a rant in it, you know, like I always do. It's gonna happen. So hopefully you'll join me for those. Thank you especially to the patrons, those who are supporting me and helping me believe in this dream and move forward with the channel, making it bigger and better than ever before. It means so much to me that you're willing to do that. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much. Again, I can't say it enough, but I will say it every single time. And until the next video, watch me up. See me in next. I'll see you there.